Welcome into the Sports Objective Podcast, coming to you on a very rainy Thursday afternoon, a matinee for you. And there you see on the right side of the screen, very excited to be joined by the newest member of Joe Dooley's staff at East Carolina, Antwon Jackson. Coach, welcome in.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We appreciate you coming on. This is something you got hired back that first week of July. So this is something we've wanted to work out since then. Glad we were finally able to do so. And like I was saying, just this nasty weather, Coach, this would be a nice day to be inside Minji's watching some basketball.
Yeah, it would be, right?
So, yeah, hopefully Pirate Nation will be able to get out to Williams Arena, Minji's Coliseum at some point this year. But let's just start off and just talk about your relationship with Coach Rockefort. I know you had some ties with Derek Kellogg from your time at UMass in Memphis. So just talk about your path to East Carolina when this job came open.
Well, I've actually known Coach Kellogg, Derek Kellogg, since actually before I actually got into college coaching. So we actually played on a men's league team together, and he used to always joke with me. He said, "Man, when I get a job, man, I'm going to hire you." And it was funny how years later, and he got the head job at UMass, and he ended up calling me, and I went with him. But then throughout my time in the business, I met, came across, Coach Rock, and just because that, Derek's so close to, Coach Cal, and that whole group was close together. So that's how our relationship kind of came about. And then while I was at University of Cincinnati, I worked with Darren Savino, who's really good friends with Coach Dooley. And, being in the business, being around, you cross paths, you develop relationships. And then I go to Virginia Tech, and after a year there, something came open here, and he talked to me about it, and I'm very interested, and I wanted to do it, and on the strength of I know him, I know Joe. I'm very confident in his abilities. I know he's going to get it turned around, okay, and build it here. And I wanted to be a part of that. So knowing him and Coach Rock coming in here, that made my decision easy.
Absolutely. That's what I'm a lifelong Pirate. And when Coach Dooley was here the first time back in my, middle school and high school days, that's what I was extremely disappointed and disagreed with the firing when they decided to part ways with Coach back then. But I was always hopeful that he would return. And I'm like you, I fully believe that we're going to develop this program into a consistent winner. So just talk about having been at Cincinnati, East Carolina. We've had our glimpses. We've had those isolated wins, so to speak, where you've seen Minji's and the potential it has. And I know that staff you were on at Cincinnati, you came into Williams Arena, Minji's Coliseum, and talk about the atmosphere there when you were on the opposing side.
Well, to be honest with you, we never seemed to really play well coming here. Actually, ironically, my last year at Cincinnati, we lost here. But we never really played great. I want to say maybe one time I thought we played, we played what I would consider, okay, we played really well, and, and we won. But I mean, it's hard being, you're on the other side, and, your guys just think they're just going to come in here and, and they're just going to come in here and win. And that's not East Carolina's fault. So, but when I was at UMass, we actually played here. And we played here. It was a night game. Actually, we were up in the first half. I would say, pretty much had it in control. And the ECU made a run late. Crowd got into the game. And the kids were rowdy, and we squeaked out of here. I mean, we could have lost that game. But I do remember being loud and, I riled our guys a little bit, being uncomfortable on the road. I mean, it happens, with in college athletics. But I mean, this place, if you can get it, get the kids in here and get people in here. I mean, this could be a hard, this could be a hard place to play, for sure.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Coach. But that UMass team that you were a part of when y'all came in, y'all were pretty high scoring, right? Didn't you average about 80 points a game or something?
Yeah. We were a high scoring team, but we weren't known for a defensive team. But we really pushed the pace. I mean, DK, as we call him, DK want to play fast, really fast. And I want to say it was early on in our tenure there. It might have been my first or second year there. Now, my last year there, we were good. My last year there, we were good. Matter of fact, we went to the Final Four, the NIT. My last year there. But early on, yeah, we wanted to play fast. Yeah, we wanted to play fast. Yeah.
Yeah. So being able to get a coach with your connections and knowing so much about the American, having spent 7 years at Cincinnati, that was just a tremendous hire for Coach Dooley, like we've been saying. So just talk about in the last 2+ months. Obviously, it's a much different time that we're living in right now. Everything. Take us through the process and your protocols and everything with COVID. And I know coaches are, or at least in the not so distant past, if not now, you guys are wearing gloves when y'all are having your small group workouts. Everybody has their own basketball, their own water bottle, and all of those sorts of things. So just take us through that and where things currently are.
Well, I mean, we're doing everything we can possibly, and this coming from, this not even just like how we feel, but like the doctor. So they the doctors, the athletic administration, they feel like we're doing everything possible to make this environment, safe for our players. But we do small groups. Now we have done some team stuff here, this week. So that's just going to be, touch and go. We could do it, how long we can, just as long as we don't have any hiccups. But before that, we were doing small groups, maybe 3-4 at a time. Each coach, you with a player at a basket. You got 2 balls. We'll have 2 balls there. We have, you have a manager there too. So whoever that player is, say it's Jaden Gardner. Okay, we're the only people that should touch his ball. Now, obviously, if the ball goes and bounces, takes a long bounce or something like that, somebody will just tap it over there real quick or, kick it over or something. Coach Dooley's normally roaming around, so it may be him. But as soon as he does that, he's going over to the table and we have a big squirt bottle of it's like some type of hand sanitizer solution. So, and he's, and that's with gloves on. He's got gloves on. We all wearing masks. Our managers are wearing masks. And even when we come, the only time we come together, we'll come together maybe a little bit during the workout. Say maybe we're working on, let's just say, coming off ball screens, and we might be going at one basket, and we'll make sure the guys are spaced out so they're not standing over top of each other while they're waiting for the next guy to go. At the end, we normally do something where he calls them pressure shots. So he might say, we could have Jaden and we could have Batumba, and he might just say, Jaden, your shot in the left corner, or Batumba, your shot in the right corner. And, but the guys are spaced out with that. And even when we do that segment, it's the end of the workout. You're still using the same ball that you were using at the basket that when we were, doing our skilled workout. So that's pretty much how it's been. And this is the first week we've done. We did 2 days where we did the entire team, where everybody, kind of was, we were. I mean, it was just a regular team workout. So And even still, when you go in the gym, everybody has their own towel. We got these hooks up on the wall that's spaced out, so you got to use your own towel. You have your own water bottle, and it's a little different now. So the players have to remember when and it happens. They forget. They'll come in the workout, and the coaches say, "All right, get your water." But normally the manager has a holder that has all the bottles in it. He normally brings them around. We can't do that now. So the guys have to individually remember to bring your bottle in it, your water bottle. So it's common. A lot of them just say, "Oh, coach, I got," they got to go back to the locker room and and get their and get their bottle. So, but it's fine. That's part of it.
Coach, you started naming some of the personnel there. You mentioned Batumba and different ones.
Yeah.
There was a graphic. I want to say it was tweeted out by at ECU basketball here within the last couple of days, just talking about. Of course, the major roster overhaul that Coach Dooley and staff executed prior to last season. Now, and that was just almost unheard of. Now this year, you have most guys back, 100% of games started, 97.3% of points scored, almost 97% of assists, et cetera, et cetera. So, so just talk about over these last couple months how you've gotten to know some of that personnel, and we'll talk about some of the strides that you've seen guys make in the last several weeks.
So, like I told you earlier, my last year at Cincinnati, we actually lost here. That was Coach Dooley's first year. Jaden Gardner is the only player that was on that team that's presently here now. So, like you said, that's unheard of, man. 11 new guys, I think it was, last year's team. That's beyond. The biggest classes I can remember that I've ever been a part of, which you really having to work guys in. We had one time in Cincinnati, I think we had like six new guys, and it was after we lost Sean Kilpatrick, and we had to bring in we brought in 3 JUCO kids, 2 who ended up starting, and that was hard. So I can only imagine what going through last year was with all the new pieces. So now we fast forward to now. Having everyone back is a good thing because now you have continuity. Okay, guys know his Coach Dooley's system. They know what he wants, what he's expecting. Guys have a clear picture of that now. So going into your second year, that there's a jump that should take place. We only have 2 freshmen. Derek, we call him Fifi, and Noah. That's those are the 2. Those are 2. Everybody else has been here, so so you don't have to worry about teaching the whole team like he did last year. Now, we haven't played a lot competitively yet, just because of like we said, the times that we're in, keeping each other apart. But I will say this: we've done every shooting drill imaginable. Okay, every from catch and shoots, on the move, off certain actions, shooting games, shooting competition. So one thing about last year's team wasn't a very good shooting team. I want to say it as a team, it was under, it's like 28% from 3 or something like that. And the 2 best guys shot 32 for the year. I want to say it was JJ and it was Tristan. Tristan is going to make a big jump. Tristan is really, he can be he should be before he's done, he should be an all-conference player in this league. He should. JJ coming from junior college into Division I basketball, it's a learning curve, and he actually shot the 3 better in league play than he did in out of conference. So he might have been the only guy I think that got better. And I want to say in league play, he shot maybe 34 or something like that. So those two guys in particular, we can get them to, 30, the high 30s, 37, 38, and everybody else, improve, which I think we shoot the ball better than the numbers show. Just from doing the stuff that we're doing. But then again, it's not in the real game. It's not after you're running up and down 3 and 4 times, you get a little tired, and then the ball finds you, and then can you make it when you're open, or when the pressure's on. So that's, those are different shots than just in a shooting drill. So I'll have a more clear picture of that as we progress into, actual competitive play.
Yeah, you talk about J.J. Miles. I was able to attend some of those games in the spring, as far as I think Cincinnati. Some of the weekend games with me being in the greater Charlotte area, it's tough to make it down, unfortunately, for weeknight games. But I made it through Cincinnati, Temple, and some others. And like you're saying, J.J. Miles certainly improved as the year went on, and you saw his confidence. He was wanting the ball, whereas other guys maybe not so much.
No, JJ, he's a confident player. He plays with swag, and he should make, again, JUCO guys, they make a big jump in their second year. I mean, my experience, that's always been the case.
And with Tristan Newton, I remember when we got the word that he was coming to East Carolina, and I watched his film. I said, I don't care who the guy's playing against. I didn't know exactly how good the competition was, but I said, what are UTEP and some of those programs out there? What are they? Why are they passing on this guy?
Man, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
And I hate to keep, I can only go back on my experiences, but Gary Clark, who played for us at Cincinnati, is from like an hour, and a half, less than an hour and a half from here. He's from Clayton, right outside Raleigh. None of the ACC schools recruited him. None of them. And he was a great player for us. They playing in the NBA. So, I mean, those things happen, man. Tristan, I'll tell you what, Texas is a big state, as we all know, and they have a lot of pockets down there of guys that just come, they just come under the radar, But, hey, Coach Rock knows that region very well. He's been around a long time. He knows a lot of people. And if the people and trust stamps a guy and say, hey, look, Coach, this kid can, this kid's going to be a good player for you. Your relationships at a place, at East Carolina, a place like this, even, we were at Cincinnati, you don't have like a great recruiting base. And when I say that, I'm saying that it's not like being in DC, New York, where you just got, or Chicago, where you just, you walking out the door and, you can, on your way home, you can see 10 or 20 real players you want to have. It's just not like that. So here's where you depend on your relationships. And that's what, we talk about as a staff all the time. We got to depend on our relationships here that, that we've encountered throughout our years. And you're going to trust certain guys on players. And, I'm sure Tristan is one of them, guys just like that. He's good. He's good.
Yeah, when we talk about J.J. Miles and how he wanted the ball last year, Tristan Newton, that's what I'm trying to remember some of the games. He just really put us on his back and made clutch plays down the stretch in ball games. And one of the things that really jumped out about him is his assist to turnover ratio as a true freshman in a league like the American.
Yes. So that's another thing. When teams don't win, certain statistics just throw, they stand right out. Turnovers, in our sport, turnover, any sport, turnovers. But assist to turnover is one of them, okay? Teams that don't win, they turn the ball over a lot. Teams that win a lot don't turn the ball over a lot. And for him coming in, being a primary, being in a position where he's a primary ball handler, and I mean, he was almost 2-to-1, as a freshman. So we need to get more guys, in his range, especially when you got your primary ball handlers. I mean, if you can't play. I mean, you watch these football games. I mean, football is a sport, man. You turn it over, you can't win.
Right.
And it's the same here. You can't get a ball to the other team. I mean, we always you gotta first you gotta learn how to not give the game away before you actually learn how to win. So protecting the ball, which actually is the first line of your transition defense, is running good offense. So you don't put yourself in a position where you got bad floor balance. So we'll get. I feel good about us being better at that.
While we're on the backcourt, let's talk about Tremont Robinson-White. Last year, he was battling injuries.
Yeah.
So how's he coming along, and him and Pig Jackson?
Yeah. Trey's been shooting. He's been shooting the ball well. Better than what his numbers showed. I think he's ready to make a jump. Now, we hadn't gone up and down yet, so with him, being one of the smaller guys, that's when you're gonna be able to see really where he's at. Tyree Pig, tough, works hard. He's a soldier. He's gonna be ready. I feel good about him. So he's another guy. Like, he shoots the ball. Again, I think he shoots the ball better than his numbers show. I really like his competitive spirit. He's a tough kid too. So you can win with guys like that.
Yeah, that's the thing with Pig. And games last year when he went through that stretch where he missed probably 23s in a row, but it didn't affect the other aspects of his game. He was still diving on the floor, jumping over the scores table, and just making plays like that, or attempting to make plays like that, where Pirate Nation came to their feet and really applauded his effort.
So we had a play yesterday. Okay, so we did a little half court 5-on-5 segment, and we working on a couple things with our defense, and so we started letting them play a little bit. We got to start there first before we go full court, and to end the possession, and it was like this: if the offense scored, they won, and it was sudden death, and if the defense got to stop, they won. So Pig's team's on defense, and it was a long rebound, and Pig's diving on the floor, securing the ball, sliding out of bounds. I mean, that was a great play, and all the guys running over there, screaming. It was great. I was on the other side of the floor. I even ran over there, to him, clapping and all that. So he'll do that. He'll do that, because I remember watching was a Tulsa game here, and I want to say he missed a lot, in a row, but he still, like, it didn't phase him with taking the next one. That's so much when you talk about these guys, like when we're doing shooting drills, and they get frustrated when they miss a couple. They get frustrated, but we always talk about worrying about the next shot, worry about the next one, worry about the next one. You gotta have a short memory. It's like a cornerback in football, man. You get beat on a play. You gotta have a short memory, because it's coming right back at you. So that's the mentality that you have to have. You can't worry about. I mean, I know everybody wants to score points and make every shot. It's not realistic. You're not going to make every shot. We know the guys aren't trying to miss. We know that. You just gotta. You can't let missing shots affect with how you play. And I know it's hard. I know it's combination, but it's hard. You can't win because the next thing you know, you worry about not making a shot down there. You come back on defense, you forget an assignment, you worried about that. So tough-minded, being tough-minded definitely helps.
Coach, obviously, I know you can't talk about the 3 commitments we have for the 2021 class because we had a question. I know you can't address this directly, but just generally speaking, and Jason, we'll get to these guys later on, and we'll talk more about them when it's just me and my co-host. But Coach, and just talk about, generally speaking, now that we have 3 commitments, assuming we're able to sign those guys, just talk about what we're looking for with the remaining scholarships in this class.
I think another, a combo, point, somebody, a playmaker, with the ball, because I think you can play. I mean, we've seen it, dual point guards, and it works. So to have another guy, because Pigs, Pigs a senior, Tremont will be, a senior when that guy comes in. So, you have, really you have Noah and Tristan. Tristan's can do both. And then if you had to go small, you can play 3 guards and he could be the biggest guard. So I mean, Tristan allows you flexibility because of his size as a guard and his skill set. So I'd say another guy in that department, and then you're losing, JJ. So you lose him, statistically, your best shooter. So to have another taller wing guy, that's a good perimeter shooter. I'd say those would be the 2 areas on top of what we're really happy about, the variables that we have. They're gonna be really good players.
And one of the guys that's there right now, a tremendous get, Noah Farrakhan, Coach Dooley capitalizing on his New Jersey ties.
Yeah.
So just talk about, because and again, I know you can't specifically talk about recruits, but just recruits in general. They're referencing guys like Noah Farrakhan. They're like East Carolina has something going on.
Yeah. I mean, and Noah, he has people know who he is. And it doesn't matter whether it's, East Coast guys, guys down south. I'm like, wow, like, he's talented though. I saw him play. First time I saw him play, he was like 14 or 15. So he's always had a big rep. He's talented though. He's talented. Things, he just does things that harder things for somebody else, he makes them look easy. Now this is a different arena coming into what he's coming into. It's gonna be the hardest thing he's ever done. Playing gets bigger, stronger, faster, but he ain't that big and strong, but man, he's explosive, he's quick, he's athletic. His instincts, he's got really good basketball instincts. Now again, we haven't gone up and down, so when it starts to get faster and the things start to get harder, will he make simple and easy, as opposed to making because he's gifted, so he's used to making trying to make stuff happen, which you don't want to take away. You never want to take away a player's his aggressiveness and his to innovate. you don't want to take his creativity away. So love his instincts. You just got to encourage him. I think that with a player like him, you just got to encourage him. Say, hey, let's be simple and easy. I don't want to take away your creativity. Let's be simple and easy. And that, that's just going to happen, with as he gets more mature, as he gets into the fire, he sees it like, whoa, okay, now I see what y'all mean. So, that'll happen.
Earlier, you referenced Jaden Gardner and how he is the only guy that was part of the Pirate program when you came in a couple years ago. So just talk about Jaden and the strides in the time that you've been here that you may have seen him make. I know he's wanting to continue to develop that outside shot. And Coach Dooley referenced him. He hasn't been a bad defender by any means, but just getting Jaden to develop even more defensively.
Yep. So he's another one. Saw him play, when he played with the team, the North Carolina team, from when they were 15 and under, 16 and under. I mean, he was, hard nosed. He was undersized for being a front court player, but he still was productive. And even when ECU beat us in Coach Dooley's first year, he was productive. That was his freshman year. So, he don't make it look pretty, but he gets the job done. I mean, guy averaged 19 and 19 almost 10, man. I mean, that's big time stats. Big time stats. But yeah, his the perimeter shot, I think, you got to get to the point. He's got to get to the point where you can make a open one, and you don't need to make a living, staying out there trying to prove everybody, wrong and all that. Just do what you're good at. Offensive rebounding, he's good at that. I mean, he just, he gets after it. Now, in being a high usage rate offensive player, then you got to go down and, you got to do the same thing on defense. So he'll continue to get better. I think, as he gets in, we all of us, all of our guys, they get in better shape. They're able to do that. But I think a lot of times, you feel like you got to shoulder all the load. I think now he's got enough around him, but you don't feel like you have to go out there every game and get 25 and 15 just to have a chance to win. So we got other guys now, so the confidence level that other guys can pick up the load, and then what happens is he might get those same numbers and be more efficient because the shots are easier. Where they can't just try to take him out because you got Tristan's emerging, and JJ's taking the next step, and Vermont has taken the next step, and Pig has gotten better, and in addition of Noah, having Luigi didn't play last year, so having Luigi out there, I've been impressed with him. But James, I mean, he's a great, on top of being a really good basketball player, he's even a better human. Really nice kid, coachable. Comes in and works on his game, outside of what we're doing. And as far as leadership, he's a guy lead by example guy. Probably got to get more vocal. That's just not his nature, but he's a really good lead by example guy because he gonna do the right thing. He actually reminds me a lot of Gary Clark in the sense of, when you coach him and you got to, you get after him a little bit, he ain't, he not going to curl up. He not going, he not going to think like he want to talk back to you, he keeps on going, so he's very similar in that regard.
Yeah, you actually read my mind, Coach. That was going to be my next question as far as his leadership, and because I knew Coach Dooley just talking about not only the tremendous player but the tremendous young man Jaden is, how he wishes he would be a little more vocal. So hopefully that will come, because when it's coming from a guy who has certainly proven himself time and again.
Yep.
It's going to carry that much more weight.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
So you referenced Luigi. You say Luigi is progressing well coming off his injury. So
Yeah.
just talk about him, Edra Luster, Charles Coleman,
Yep.
and also the freshman Derek Fifi Kwanzaa, and how those guys are looking in the front court.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, that group, they work at it. They work at it. They're in here a lot outside of what we're doing. Charles should make a big jump from being a freshman coming to a sophomore. His body looks great. He's improved his shooting. Heck, he made, yesterday he made one 17, 18 foot yesterday in live action. Luigi, man, he gets after it. I always say that he really works hard. He plays hard. He's got it in him where he plays angry. He tries to dunk the ball. He tries to tear the rim down. And you need that. Edra, he's coming along, very skilled. I think with him, Smo got to get running a little more. But he's got it in him. Just that, you gotta do it, consistently. But again, we haven't went up and down yet, so we'll see how see how they go. I would say that Batumba shot the cover off the ball. He shot the cover off the ball. Fifi, young, he's athletic. He made a block shot the other day. Not yesterday, but the day before. Tuesday. Somebody turned and, I forgot who it was, thought they were going to just easy jump hook. And all of a sudden, Fifi springs up and just, blocked it. And he didn't block it so hard that it went out of bounds. He got it, and got back in, kept it in play for his team. But he's raw. He's got a ways to go. In the sense, his skills and his aren't where the other guys are. But now his athleticism, his energy level, he wins all the sprints. He runs circles around, the big guys. We do 4-course sprints. He comes in first every time. Every time. He's looking back and like the road, like he's a road runner or something. So I just think he'll figure it out. He can just block shots, screen and roll, catch and finish, simple stuff. He'll be able to impact. He has things that he can do to impact the game, from an athletic standpoint. Now he's young and he's got other guys in front of him that will it happen right away. It might take a little bit, but he's got he's got some athleticism and things where he can impact the game at some point. Miles James, the wing guy, he can shoot. He's another guy, plays with a little chip, which you like guys like that. So everybody has had, has had their, having their moments, and I can see where they're going to be able to, to help us, regardless of what we do. B subs, Brandon, he's going to be better than he was, as a freshman. He goes about his business. He's had, he shoots the ball better than his percentages. I can go off now as the numbers I look at, but I will say this: the guys are progressively getting better. We chart our shooting workouts. So guys are definitely, as we've progressed, guys have definitely gotten better. and more comfortable in shooting the ball.
Coach, yesterday we had the news come out that the season will start on November 25th. So just talk about your thoughts and what the staff has had to say regarding that decision. Is that what you guys were expecting? And I know the Gulf Coast Showcase that we're taking part in, that will now be to start the season, correct?
Yes. Yeah, kind of. I mean, a lot of things were being thrown out. You didn't know. I mean, we knew it probably wasn't going to be 31 games. So, you 31, 25, 27, 28, all those numbers were being kicked around. So not surprised at that. The date, the 25th, that was the date that we were starting to hear. 14th would be 42 days before your first game. You get 30 practices in 42 days. Not too surprised at that, because we have been hearing stuff for especially for like the last 3 weeks leading into it. But I mean, as far as my thoughts, I mean, I guess, we got to wait to see what our league does with conference play. So we don't really have a clear picture yet, because we've been 18 games in league play. So now if we go to 20, then that changes things a little bit. So that's where, things could get a little tricky. Do you still, do you, because you have your, MTE is what the golf, showcase is called. So it's a multi-team event. So you get 3 games there, and then you have your out of conference, slate. You're not going to be able to keep every out of conference game. So then you got to figure out, which out of conference games do you keep. So there's a strategy that, that has to go, in regards to that too. So I don't think, until we get the conference thing settled, because I mean, it sounds like a little bit, so it's only 2 games. Well, 2 games means a lot. So, so I think you get, even clearer picture, when that happens.
Taking a look at that field in the Gulf Coast Showcase, which is November 25th to the 27th, and includes Akron out of the MAC, Delaware, who won 20 games last year in the CAA, Fordham out of the A10, Indiana State, who's an upper echelon team in the Missouri Valley, and then Vermont, who won 26 ball games a year ago and is always the America East class.
Yeah. They actually almost won it at UVA last year, actually, because I saw the game. They were really good. So they lost kid's named Anthony Lamb. He was the best player. But John Becker's a really really good coach. So he'll have those guys ready. Akron, John Gross has done a terrific job. With them. I want to say they were, I guess the MAC has 2 divisions, and I want to say it was 4 teams that won 20 or more. They were one of them. I want to say they won like 24 games, I think. Actually, they might have been the first seed in the tournament, because they won their bowling. They beat out Bowling Green at the end for, I want to say they were number 1 seed in the tournament, if that was going to take place. Delaware, now they lost a couple guys too. Nate Darling put his name in the draft, so not having him back. Justin Mutz, grad transfer, went to Virginia Tech. So they lost 2 really good players. But I know their staff well. They still got some guys that can play. So they'll figure it out. I mean, Coach Inglesby, Martin, he'll figure it out. Who just said Indiana State? I really don't know too much about them. Actually, when I was at Cincinnati, we actually scrimmaged them, and they actually, for 30 minutes, they gave us, we pulled away, but for 30 minutes they gave us all we can handle. So at least I know what their mentality is going to be. Who else?
Just one moment. It was, and then you also have Fordham out of the A10, and that's what like I told you before we went live. I'm in the greater Charlotte area, and I'm only about 20 miles from Davidson as well. So a lot of times, if I'm not coming to Greenville or staying at home to watch the Pirates play on TV, I'll use my coach's pass and go over to Belk Arena. And in Davidson, Bob McKillop's clubs are very entertaining to watch.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know too much about how good Fordham will be. I mean, Coach Neubauer, he's a veteran coach. So I mean, he'll have something. He's old, he worked for a lot of years with Coach Beeline. So you can't underestimate anybody, especially in the times that we're in right now, because we've all went through 4.5 months where we didn't do anything. So now it's going to come down to, there's going to be some teams that everybody thought were, that were supposed to be really good, and they might, I mean, we've seen it in the watching the NBA in the bubble. I mean, we're all sitting here thinking, the Clippers and the Lakers are going to play, and the Clippers are going home. We thought the Bucks would be in the championship; they're going home. So, I mean, you just never know. You just never know.
And the other two teams in the field that I have not mentioned are Omaha, and then also let's see here, Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee, they were very down a year ago, just from a wins-loss standpoint. But at the same time, in the not so distant past, they were beating Michigan or somebody in the NCAA tournament.
Michigan State. Yeah. So we actually played. Yeah, we actually played Middle. When Kermit was there. I mean, they got tradition, man. So, I mean, they won at Asheville. So, I mean, he'll figure it out. Hey, look, I'm from the mindset and the theory. I respect everybody. You still got you still got to go out there and make more plays than the other team to win the game. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. And all you gotta do is win by one. Bubba, that's all you gotta do is win by one. You gotta make one more play than the other team made. That's it. So,
Coach,
sorry,
go ahead.
Last year,
I had a bit of a lag there.
No, okay. Now I was saying, like last year, ECU was in a lot of close games. Now, a lot of games with 6, 7, 8 points. I mean, we're healthier now. We got a year under our belt. I mean, we can make a jump. We can make a jump, and I feel confident that we will make the jump.
Absolutely. I just start to smile just thinking about the possibilities of what Minji's has been on some isolated occasions. I look forward to it being that way consistently. But one of my co-hosts, Dave Richmond, chimes in. He was just saying, "Hey, Coach, welcome to Greenville. So happy to have you as a Pirate. We're ready to get East Carolina back to the big dance." But then he said, with your experience at Cincinnati for 7 years, and he says, "What does it take for the Pirates to win the American?" Just talk about going from where we are now to the middle part of the league and then the upper echelon of the league.
Yeah, I mean, it's everyone's wants to go from the bottom to the top. It's not going to happen overnight. So I do think now with this team back, a second year together. You add a couple, talented, young guys to go to the mix. The health, and I think that's the biggest thing. We got to keep our better guys. Got to be healthy. We can get to cut our turnovers down. Shoot the ball better. When we have opportunities, but then again, we can't get in, because you don't shoot it great, you can't win. If you don't turn it over, you play really good defense. You don't make a lot of mistakes. You out rebound people because again, there's more shots that you get at the basket than they do. I think you put yourself in a position where you have a chance to win. And you know what? My years at Cincinnati, we didn't have. I don't think we had the best players in the league all the time. We didn't, but now we got to the point, later on we had some really good teams with Gary, Jacob Evans, Jaron Cumberland, Kyle Washington, Troy Carpane, Nasir Brook, Trey Scott, who, ended up this year, making first team all league team, first team all, in the American. And I want to say he was the second highest leading vote getter out of all conference guys. And he was a redshirt guy. So, guys develop the same way with our guys here. We got to develop them, and it takes a little time to happen. Hey, look, Coach Dooley, Coach Rock. They've been doing it a long time. They've been on both sides of the fence. Where you got to build it, and then on the other side, where you sitting over there, and you're looking at the other team, and you have the top team. It's different being on both sides of that. So, in saying all that, what will it take? Well, certain things we're gonna have to do better than we did last year. I'm confident that we'll be able to do that. And you'll get to the middle. But you know what? I don't want to stop saying it short of there because you know what? Like I said, with all this stuff going on, anything can happen. I don't want to put no seal on no team. We want to be that next banner hanging up in the gym.
Absolutely.
So, hey, if it's 2021 when it happens, hey, look, tell Dave I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Now, Coach, you referenced the bubble a moment ago. A couple more things for you as we start to wrap this up. So what is your favorite NBA team, and who do you like to watch more from an individual standpoint as far as a favorite player or two?
Now you're gonna ask me something like that. You know what? I don't necessarily have a favorite team per se, but I mean, I love watching. I love watching LeBron. But you know what? The other guys that people don't talk about a lot. Okay, Kyle Lowry. I love watching him. I actually know his older brother Lonnie. So, and we communicate throughout the whole playoffs and all that. So, I love watching Kyle play. I like watching Jason Tatum play. I love Marcus Smart. See, I like guys like that because they affect winning. Jimmy Butler. I like him too. Just watching, I love Pat Riley, what he's done with, with that organization and how they came in. They weren't a sexy choice. And look what they're doing. Bam Adebayo is the new age NBA center. Team's gonna be trying to find the next Bam. Because he gets every rebound, he goes after every rebound. He won the game the other night with a brilliant block on Jason Tatum at the rim. And the most spectacular thing about that was he blocked it with his left hand. Most guys, right-handed guys, come across their body to try to block it, and they end up fouling the guy. So for him to be able to jump up and get that high and block it with his left hand was very impressive. On a player like Tatum, I mean, anybody else, he might would have put it in or gets fouled. So I'll tell you what, though, the Nuggets, man, they've been a joy to watch. I mean, you're talking about 2 series in a row coming back from 3-1. Actually, this morning I actually watched the first half of their game 6, and the Clippers. I mean, they were dominant in the first half. I mean, it was 63-47 at the half. and then this the second half of these games, they just fall apart. So, but Denver's been a really good offensive team. So here's the thing about the NBA teams: your best players got to play. They got to show up. They got to play. So Paul George and Kawhi Leonard didn't. Jokic and Murray did, and that's why they won. So, but it's been a joy to have basketball back. So I've enjoyed the bubble. Not having the crowd. You guys' voices, like when Chris Paul was playing, he impacts the game with his voice. So I don't know. That's how I feel about it. Kind of ramble all over the place, but I just like basketball in general. So I love watching whoever's playing.
Yeah, Steve and I go of hoistthecolors.net. I know you talk about that Nuggets team. He pulls for the Denver Broncos, so I don't know if that and then just the combination of him finding their style of play so exciting, like you're saying, he's kind of adopted them as his team during the bubble playoffs.
Hey, and they're doing this without Will Barton, who's their third best player. I mean, Will average 15, 16 a game. And to not have him and still being able to do this, I mean, it's Coach Malone. He's a New Jersey guy. So Coach Dooley, he's happy about that. One of his homeboys is winning. So that's good to see.
And Coach, obviously the final thing I have for you, the last few months have not been typical in terms of in terms of a lot of things, but going out to eat is one of those. So have you had the chance to enjoy some Eastern North Carolina barbecue yet?
No, not yet. I haven't been to too many barbecue places yet. I need to. I'll get it though. I'm a finicky eater. Anybody that knows me, I'm I got a couple things that I like and I kind of stick with them. So, but we'll get some of that. We'll get some of that barbecue.
Grilled chicken guy.
Salmon, grilled salmon.
Salmon. Okay.
Grilled salmon. I'm the only person in history that'll go to a high level steakhouse, and you think I'm about to get this big steak. Let's say you go in Ruth's Chris or wherever it is, and I get salmon. I go to Outback, I get salmon. I guess Texas Roadhouse, I get salmon. So
yeah, I don't know that my dad's gotten it at Outback or wherever, but yeah, he's big as far as throwing some salmon on the grill as well.
Yep. Me and Coach Rock went to Outback 2 weekends ago. Yeah, 2 weekends ago. Yeah, we snuck in there. So yeah, it was good.
Well, Coach, I know I've put it on the screen during the show, but tell folks how they can follow you on social media and so forth.
My Twitter account is Coach Jack ECU. I check it several times a day. So that's where I'm at.
Coach, really appreciate your time. Appreciate you being so generous, spending so much time with us this evening. Look forward to having you back on as the season approaches. And best of luck to you and the staff. And we can't wait to get Minji's rocking.
Thank you very much, Bubba. And anytime, man. Be glad to come back on. Look forward to meeting you.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Coach. And we'll tag and mention you on social media when we release this on all of our other podcast platforms like TuneIn.
Okay. All right.
All right. Thanks so much, Coach. Take care.
All right. Have a good one.
Appreciate Antwon Jackson spending so much time with us this evening talking East Carolina Pirate basketball. We will be joined later on by Mike Mully. Will join us to talk a variety of topics, and then we'll also catch up with our good buddy Terry Gallagher. Terry's moved from Georgia down to the port city in Wilmington So Terry will spend some time with us on the first part of the 7 o'clock hour tonight, and then we will, of course, be catching up with Mully after that, talking East Carolina football, Major League Baseball, etc. And so, if you missed part of this show, definitely go back and check it out. It is, of course, archived right here on Facebook. In addition to our YouTube channel, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. And like I just mentioned to Coach, it will be on all of our audio-only platforms like YouTube, TuneIn, SoundCloud, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, you name it. You can probably find it on any of those podcast platforms. But for my absent co-hosts, Dave Richmond and Kyle Barber, I'm Bubba Rosenbaum, and you have been watching and listening to the Sports Objective Podcast on Facebook and YouTube. Until next time, go Pirates.